Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are going to be exploring the fact that He-Man and the Masters of the Universe by Sony appears to have been completely cancelled. Now to do that, we actually need to start tracing it back to this piece of news here. Kevin Smith unveiling plans for Masters of the Universe Revelation, which is an anime series at Netflix. And this is the key player here, Netflix. Now, why do I say Netflix is the key player? Because they're embroiled in multiple projects with respect to the Mattel He-Man product. And although Sony are the studio behind the cancelled, which I firmly do believe it is now completely cancelled, it has no release date at all. It's been moved completely off the board, which again we'll get to in a second. It's Netflix that I think is the clincher behind all of this. So on August 18th, by Dino Ray Ramos, via Deadline, we had the report that Kevin Smith unveiled plans for an anime series. Now, this was going to be interesting for multiple reasons. The initial report just seemed to state that this would be essentially a lead-off from the previous and original He-Man. By the power of Grayskull, Kevin Smith has taken a metaphorical power sword to help bring a new animated series based on the He-Man. The Jay and Silent Bob reboot director surprised fans at PowerCon in Anaheim on Sunday to share the news of his Netflix anime series. Now, it does say that this will be an original story based on the world of Mattel's classic 80s era He-Man toy franchise. Now, the other stuff, which is again really important to note, it does say here, Smith will serve as the executive producer and showrunner of Masters of the Universe Revelation, a limited series which focuses on the unresolved storylines. Okay, now this is all to do with the classic series. So, although it is original stories, it is based on the unresolved element of the classic series, picking up many of the characters' journeys, or many of the characters' journeys where they left off decades ago. So it's essentially a sequel. Now remember, this was in August, okay? This was in August. And then what happened? Well, Hollywood Reporter, in good old September, stated the following. After developing its He-Man franchise for years, Sony may take its Masters of the Universe film direct to the streamer. Now this is essentially about how Netflix were going to be the front runner for getting the Sony movie. The Master of the Universe is a long developed and stagnating movie at Sony. It's been years in the making. Absolutely years. We had some fantastic dark Masters of the Universe concept art released by Paul Gerard a few years ago now, about 2 years ago, and that seemed to get things buzzing a little bit more, and then we heard some new rumours that people were dropping in and out. Now, this article here from the Hollywood Reporter is interesting. So it says, but while the picture is on the calendar for the release in March 2021, sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that studio chairman Tom Rothman is exploring the prospect of getting free cash for the pricey project by making it for Netflix instead. Now, a studio source says talks are preliminary, but such a deal would make Sony the next studio after Paramount to start making movies belonging exclusively or almost exclusively to the streamer. Now, Paramount, this part of the report is referencing Paramount and the Cloverfield films, as well as Annihilation, I believe. So there's the dilemma. Seek a studio or financier to partner on the project, holding on to various rights and territories, or make the safe deal with Netflix. Now again, remember, this was all the way back in September. Okay, and now what we've heard latest after that would come in December. And again, here we go, another Netflix deal. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Netflix and Mattel return to Grayskull for a brand new CG series. Now this is not, I repeat, this is not the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe Revelation anime series. No, this is another Netflix property, or He-Man property at Netflix, should I say. Netflix and Mattel Television are producing He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, an original CG animated adventure series that will reimagine the popular Reagan-era toy-based franchise with a fresh take on its fantasy heroes. The CG animation undertaking will be a brand companion for Netflix's previously announced Mattel partnership on the 2D anime series Masters of the Universe Revelation from Kevin Smith. Now, this even was so far ahead that it even had a logline. On the planet of Eternia, a young lost prince discovers the powers of Grayskull and transforms into He-Man, Master of the Universe. The classic battle between He-Man and evil Skeletor rages to new heights as both hero and villain forge new and mighty teams. A new generation of heroes fighting for the fate of us all, in the end, who will become the Master of the Universe. Spoiler alert, it's He-Man. But this is, again, completely different. Brand new, nothing to do with Kevin Smith, although they do state specifically it is a brand companion. Brand companion, very interesting choice of words. The series is being produced by Mattel Television with Adam Bonet, Christopher Keenan and Rob David. Now, these are all key players in animated series that have been previously on air. Okay. Now, Master of the Universe is one of the most iconic global franchises of all time with a 30-year history. It has a passionate fan base. The entire team at Mattel is excited to introduce the world of He-Man to a new generation and together with the talented team at Netflix to reimagine the classic characters in a way that appeals to kids and families today while also resonating with fans who grew up with them. So although it's a brand companion, it is new reimagining. We even had, again, so it was so far ahead, we even had posters. Now, this would be the CG art style. There was another one which featured Skeletor, I believe. But again, remember, we had this. This is all to do with Sony, okay? So this is nothing to do with Mattel. This was Sony's. But to have two series go next to one another, okay? And then to have this dropped. And remember, this was The Hollywood Reporter. They have good sources. And what has happened now? Well, ladies and gents, Boris Kit, movie release dates shuffle. The Uncharted moves from December 18th, 2020 to March 5th, 2021. Masters of the Universe, which was supposed to open March 5th, is now off the calendar. Wonder where it's going to go. And interestingly enough here, we had Netflix, good friend of the channel, Andre, of Midnight's Edge. This. Everyone. Netflix, nowhere. Just put Master of the Universe on Netflix where it belongs. Netflix, etc, etc, etc. Master of the Universe is officially, I would say, okay, unconfirmed, but read between the lines here. It's cancelled. It is cancelled for wide release. It is going to go to Netflix. I believe Mattel and Netflix were building a good sort of fandom base over at Netflix with these two products here. I believe when The Hollywood Reporter, and this is all rumour at this point in time, rumour and conjecture, but I believe when The Hollywood Reporter started to hear rumours and rumblings of this is obviously because all of this was going on in the background as well. And I believe Sony was having discussions with Netflix to essentially sell the rights over to them. Now, what does this say for He-Man moving forwards? Well, look, ultimately, He-Man is a property which I feel absolutely deserves to be on the big screen. I feel in this day and age, it would absolutely clean up at the box office. Because it would. Counter-programming is a thing. Having a character as masculine as He-Man and have all that toxicity oozing from the screen, people would flock out to see it because people are absolutely sick to death of the current wave of man bashing. Now, He-Man appears, because of the agenda political climate we live in, to be a hard sell. But that's where a student needs to grow a pair of balls and really just go and own it. Because the reason why movies which are ultra-violent and masculine in this day and age are doing so well is because of counter-programming. And I do believe firmly that studios have lost the art of counter-programming. So yes, It is delayed. Officially, it's just off the calendar. But it's going to be going to Netflix. I have absolutely no doubt about that. I think that Netflix and Mattel have been building this. They've been building up to this for a really, really long time. These two products here speak volumes about that. The rumors that we had started to hear here state, again, the obvious. This was going to happen at all times anyway. So there you go. He-Man is off the cards. It's not getting a studio theater release. It will more than likely just be heading off over to Netflix. So anyway, guys, what do you think about this news? For me, personally, I think this is a huge mistake. It really, really is. I feel that Sony could have made a lot of money off of this over at a studio release, but never mind. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I have been Mr. H. Take care.